Hello YouTube friends, welcome to the Red Parrot channel. I am your host Mary Ellen. This is an episode of Slow Stitching So Saturday on a Saturday. Look at us go. Rough week, not gonna lie. Still in a bit of a rough patch. A lot of anxiety happening because the world feels a little unstable. So I feel like I need to put a little bit of a warning in the table, in the title, because I'm not sure. So let us start with the fun stuff right off the hop. So this week was B from K3N's Stitch Along, and this is my blanket stitch. I will bring it up so you can see better. So I started on the outside, and then I brought all of the stitches in, and I made very specific note to keep things as parallel as possible. And then I stopped here because I didn't know that I wouldn't be able to make it a clean close, but I could make that look kind of clean. And I don't know if you can see here, I used a new running stitch from last week. This is, and you can see it better here, this is onion stained, tea stained, some kind of stained sheeting. Still no pink, so after our grand introduction of ha ha ha, this is the year of pink, we did a week. So it was ever nice. That's coming apart. One of the things that I kind of wanted to do, but I didn't, because I think this is pure. This is like pure blanket stitch. It would be interesting to do this kind of layout and then use a cross stitch either over the joins or within the joins. That would be really interesting, I think. So anyways, there we are. B. B is for blanket stitch. So B1, blanket stitch. B2, Catherine hasn't launched what her second B is going to be. And I think there is some general consensus in the comments of the one or two things that everyone would like to see. I feel like it's my role in life to make, if everybody's going that way, to go the other way. It's just sort of in my kind of nature. It also makes me really good at my job. E, and my suggestion was baseball, and we will demonstrate. Welcome to, this is a purchase new baseball. I have game worn or game used baseballs, and I'm not gonna do with them what I'm gonna do with this until I know what I am doing and have done this a couple of times. So this is a baseball. I shall show you up close the stitching. So the stitching is made with 2 needles, and essentially what it does is a bit of a braid. So it's doing that kind of methodology. I am a huge baseball fan, and so I believe I have general permission from K3N to please yourself. So I might do 3 Bs, but I want to do, if nothing else, I want to take this apart. And this, I think, will be somewhat entertaining, if not to you, at least to me. So feel free to bail now if you're like, I can't even. It should be interesting though. All of this is hand sewn, and there should be a place where it's at least kind of evident, or not, where the start and stop happens. Because I think what they would do is they would like thread in and then just cut. There, I think it's there actually. That looks, those two spots right there. So let's have this. And I need to get it started and I need to pull it up to my face first. Yeah, I think that's exactly where it is. Wow. You can totally see the variation in the stitches. Like that one is super wide, both are laid straight. The one next to it is a bit of on a wonk. That's the two threads on top of each other. That's another one that's got sort of half and half. This is really interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna take my glasses off. Do this. Where's my spot? Where's my spot? Here's my spot. Okay. And I might just have to cut it. Ooh. Let's do that. There's one. Oh, yes. Wow. Look at the impression, how tightly the wax thread has been tied. You can see the whole piece. Pardon my hands, I was playing around with ink this morning. So there's one. That needs to be the one that comes out. Okay, so we've got two free ends. Yay! Okay, how are you coming out? Oh wow, have I ever smushed the ends of these? Okay, I gotta put my glasses on because I can't find anything without them. Here, these. These need a little bit of a... Here we are, that's better. Well, there's your problem. That's better, okay. After that, do that. Where's our endy bendies? Here. Ooh, all right, well, that's something. Didn't expect that to break. So that's for sure where the crossover is happening. Okay, that one came out. So to me, this end should be there. Yep, okay. It is sewn the way I think. And so this should then be that. Oops. This is possibly as interesting as watching paint dry. I understand that. Oh yeah. It's using the wrong tool. You can see film on YouTube of people sewing this. Ooh, there we are. Ooh, that long tail. So this one is going to be that side. Yep, okay. And this is going to be that side. I might not do all of this on here because, like I say, I think this is like watching paint dry. But to watch the beginning of it, I think is really interesting. To see what's underneath. Ooh, okay, a couple more. And now that we've got it started, it's going to be easier to get the threads pulled. The other thing that I want is the leather piece. I have been trying to make my own baseball out of non-baseball materials, and I've needed a pattern, and it's not easy to get said pattern scaled properly. Oh, that's cool. Oops. You can see where the threads have gone into the base. Ah, okay. So they have taken, I think that's what they've done. Come on. So they, much like when we sew something on the flat, we sort of do a little with the fabric just to get the thread anchored, and I think that's exactly what they've done here. Is that easier? Oh, maybe it is. See that? That's an end that's... Yes. And look at us. We were able to find the insert end. That's pretty great. We do it that way? A little more space? I know I said I'd stop, but this is just so much fun. There. Yep. So what's the kind of thread this is? So this is actually like legit string, and it's heavily waxed. Yeah. And then that's how they started. So when this comes apart, so there's a specific number of holes of the baseball, and so I think what they do is they have the flat leather, they have a piece of equipment that punches the holes in, and then they will seam it. So likely that you are not a baseball fan. That's entirely possible. If you ever come across 2-seam fastball, 4-seam fastball, slider knuckler, the seams are what they are talking about here. So when it's about how you cover the baseball, and how you spin it, throw it, all that kind of stuff. And another fun fact that absolutely floored me and my buddy, according to the official making of these baseballs, you have a plus-minus size. So this is what's called a 9-inch ball, and it's apparently 9 inches around. And that plus or minus is 1/4 of an inch. So when I found that out, I asked him, it's like, okay, when you're doing your things, how big a deal is 1/4 of an inch to you in your work? And he's like, well, some things are like no biggie, and then others are, the whole project is compromised. And I said, yeah, well, guess what? Guess what has a plus or minus of a quarter of an inch? What? A baseball. And I could hear the screaming in the text. So there's an expression also in baseball that says you hit the cover off a baseball, and that is you've hit it so hard that the laces have come off and the leather has unfurled. Possibly not so common, and it is not common. It doesn't happen in modern baseball, but I think it is a fun expression. Yeah, it's way easier now. So the other thing that is interesting to me about this is that it has taken two very clear edges and is able to bind them into a very tight seal. So back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. And that is also interesting to me. I think this is a repair method as well for sort of heavier duty stuff like tents and sails and so on and so forth, if you're having to do that. And part of the function is that it's a heavy duty method. You're not necessarily going to take your light silk. Okay, so that was the end off. Oops, that's why it's bent. So this is kind of sticky, which makes some sense. A little bit of gluey glue. There's one. There's two. Oh, that's just wicked cool. And then you could peel it, and then you've got perfectly good leather, and this leather should lay flat. Okay, so I'm not going to do the rest of this baseball now because this is not baseball deconstruction. This is So Saturday. So before I get started with my usual Saturday project, I have a temporary commercial for a Norwegian hat pattern. This is, I don't know if you can see it, it is a Norwegian hat pattern that was popularized in World War II to make political statements, and the statements were so unpleasantly received that they banned red hats to such an extent that apparently Santa Claus was not allowed to wear a red hat for the duration. In any event, Ravelry, you can download it. Money goes to causes that may or may not be of your flavor, and I've got some red wool. So oh yes, so that's an unexpected project. And I also have a second unexpected project. A friend of mine had some really beautiful textiles, and she wanted a little bit of relining to happen, and I love her dearly, and I love the textiles dearly, and so I am now doing that work as well. So my net for this week has been, I finished and shipped one project, and I got two more. Absolutely not the right direction, but I would not have it any other way. That my friends think of me when they have textile issues, it gives me great joy. And we might be able to get from there to there today. I'm not sure. And we'll see what my hand looks like today in terms of Okay, I'm going to clean some of this off. How wide or not wide the stitches are. I need to move that out of the way so I don't catch it inadvertently. I love this cigar box that I'm using now for these 6x6s. Oh dear. Alrighty. And we're back. So it is minus a squillion outside. We are having something called a polar vortex, which is a massive polar air, really cold, and it doesn't go anywhere for a while. It just sort of hangs out. So we are going to be freezing. And Sunday, but wait, there's more. We are going to have a honker of a storm. Snowstorm, I mean. Just in case you thought that might be thunderstorms or some other kind of storm. Yeah, thanks for coming out, Mariel. Yeah, we do. Oh, bless. Dear. What else is new? Oh, yeah, so my boss gave this as a pre-alert. This is the kind of workplace I have. Everybody's off shift, have a good weekend, et cetera, and my boss reminded everybody, it's like, yeah, just reminder, in this cold weather, be prepared for frost quakes. And what, you might ask, is a frost quake? Well, let me tell you. A frost quake is an earthquake, but caused by the land freezing. So anybody who is close to the land and in a colder climate will know that the moisture in the earth freezes as winter comes on. So the frozen tundra, the frozen this, the frozen that. There's moisture in the earth, and when winter comes along and the temperature drops, that moisture freezes, just like the ice cubes in your fridge. And so the degree of freezing, how deep does the freezing go, depends on the duration, how long you have consistent cold weather, and the degree of which the cold weather is. So like a -2 Celsius for a day and a half doesn't do anything, but -20, 30 for 8 months of the year, you have a very, very deep freeze. It goes down quite deeply. And so in areas that are sort of in the buffer zone, the who knows what can happen zone, where there's lots of weather variation, let's call it, that is the earth will freeze. And when the freezing gets down to the water table, when water freezes, I do believe it expands. And that's what ends up happening. So you hit the water table, you freeze the water expands, and then because Mother Nature is a badass queen that will not be denied, the earth moves. And that is called a frostquake. Come for the stitching, stay for the baseball and weather. Let's do it a little bit at a time. I think that's going to be better. So this is perfect weather for the staying inside, not going out and also having, I can might hear the crackling. I have a fireplace video going. And some nice comfort food, maybe a stew, maybe some roast vegetables, some nice soup, all kinds of things. Canadians are quite the curlers, and so there is a women's curling tournament called the Tournament of Hearts that is currently on. And that is, oh, there are some sports that are perfect background sports. Golf is one of them. Nothing happens for great stretches, and it's all very calm and orderly, and people are mumbling, and you can go to sleep. I can anyways. And weirdly, even though curling does have screaming and yelling, if you have it on low enough, it's just very mumbly, and the screaming isn't all that bad. Did I get that right? I did not. I did not do the loop. Oh, I did. I undid it. Nuts. There. So my method of dealing with some of the brain trouble I've got at the moment is to art, because art activates a different part of the brain, and you can't fuss and create at the same time. So the trick is to pick something that is low investment, if you know what I mean. I've been doing a lot of collage that is just pick 5 pages in a magazine, randomly make a collage out of them. There's not a lot to it, if you know what I mean. And then you can just get lost in the mindfulness of cutting things and seeing how things go together, and just doing some non-intensive problem solving. Okay, look at that. We're nearly, I'm not going to know what to do with myself when I get to the end. Well, I do. I know exactly what I'm going to do. We're going to pick, oh my gosh, I haven't picked the colors yet. Well, that's a whole thing. Well, let's talk about that. Let's discuss. Or as one of my favorite comedians would say, let's unpack. So, I have a chance for 3 colors, because I'm going to do a three color pass. Oh yeah, K3N, if you're listening. We could have done a border on a blanket stitch. That would have been 2 bees. I am certain it is the far too late in the game to make any kind of adjustments, and like I say, you probably already decided, which is totally fine. But that would have been fun. We could still do it. Where was I? Yes, colors. So I don't know what colors to use. I was thinking, what colors can't I use? Maybe that's an easier way to back into it. Part of me thinks that I can't use orange. And I'm going to sit here for a minute and challenge that assumption. Because orange might be the actual answer. I'm not sure. So I didn't think, I don't want white. I don't want orange. I want 3 tones so that I can see, when you put it on the edge, you can actually see the pattern emerge. So 3 different tones, but that doesn't mean that the color needs to change. It just means that the tone needs to change. So there would be, you could get, come on, you could just tuck in there. Hang on. You could do like this orange. You could go like a peachy, and then you could go like a deep red. That's a possibility. I was thinking also we could do browns, like tan, medium brown, dark brown. I don't want to do black, I don't want to do white. My sample, wherever that went, was, what colors? Green, yellow, and red. And that was just because the colors were handy. But they didn't work really well. Oh, that was hard on the old. There we are. So there's not very many colors. There's not very many colors. Yes, Mary Ellen, thanks for coming out. We will call you if we need you. I was thinking about the very simple color wheel and the 5, 6 colors. So yellow, red, blue, green, orange, purple. And then everything else just being some kind of version of that. Put that away. How are you? How are you? So skinny. Oh, the things I have learned from doing it once. Need that pin back. There. Just the faintest turny over is required. There, okay. Come on. Here we are. Oh, that's not bad. It does, you can get a lot out of this. This is fabulous. Ooh, ooh. It's got to fold over. Yeah. This sort of very marginal neatening is really interesting. And I've gotten, these stitches have become really short because I'm responding to the shortness of that little piece there. And that feels very much like what is happening here, that there is a very, it is the handcraftedness of being able to sort of be that tight and specific. I should stop here, get another thread. There. I still have weather on my mind, and so the weather app is all, your face will freeze if you go outside for too long. Don't forget to put cream on your hands. Yes, Mom. Which is essentially kind of what a weather map is, isn't it? It's like, don't forget your boots. You'll need an umbrella. I appreciate that. But yeah, it is face freezing weather. Which is kind of why I have the fire app on. It's that feeling of coziness. Oops, 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 oops. Oh, aw. Foulest Mädchen. Okay, I'm gonna take this off here. Oh, what are we doing? I got the wrong end. Jeepers, creepers, melaneepers. Okay, careful, careful. There we are. All right, I'm gonna let these all twist out. Not yet, not yet. There we are, okay. It's a bit of a bodgy knot. Oh dear. I could do white, red, and purple, but that does not go with this. That's another problem, and I think another reason why I didn't like the green, red, and yellow, because the green and the red don't really fit this aesthetic, as one would say. Oops. Rachel at Roxy Creation did a really lovely fabric thing. I made some paper, a paper version of it. And essentially it's there are other names for it that are not so religiously suggestive, but they call it like a pocket altar, pocket devotional, a pocket favor. That's sort of a more neutral. In any event, what it is, you could probably make one and make it into a needle book. It's 6 boxes, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you fold this up, fold that up, fold, 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 and then tie. And then you have this nice little bit of a thing. I do not need to add anything to my list of things to do, however. You may or may not recall that in my goal setting, I said, you know what, I'm just going to let the world come to me in terms of whatever the projects are. And what a great idea that was. I did not expect so many projects so early, I guess. Alrighty then. I'm thinking of K3N's latest video. She took a spinning trip somewhere in her general area, and the place she stayed at was beautiful and has this little sunroom that's enclosed, and she could sit there and just do the, you know, have the waves and just be contented. And I was thinking how lovely and posh that is, and how makeshift mine is. It's like, well, you know what? I have my little computer, or at least my little iPad, and I'm going to put some a fireplace thing on, and I'm going to have the same, air quotes, same ambiance. Not so much, but the spirit is the same. Yeah, I'm going to keep that there for a while. Oops, come on, getting that. Okay, we've got 15 minutes. What do we think? We've got to go from there to there. Oops. Oops. Taking the baseball apart is just the right kind of fiddly-faffy thing to do for today, among other things. Oops, okay, we'll move it. Oh yeah, we're good, I think. Yeah, we are. Let's move it over to there. I'm thinking about the resistance knitting and how textile art has been such a fundamental part of resistance communication. Just a whole lot of very important contributions to, one way or another, making the world a better place. And I think what is misunderstood by a lot of people who don't work in textile, one way or the other, like, I'm not saying industry, I'm saying just have been playing around. You know, if you've been a knitter for 2 years, it's at least some point you become tangentially aware of, oh, this knitting is not just like this expression drives me bonkers. This is not your granny's hobby. And so, a little bit of a soapbox. The grannies were the OG resistors. So let's just put that in a pin. They weren't little sweet blue hair old ladies. Like, that's what the stereotype is like, no. They were young ones. They were wearing red lipstick. They were suffragettes. They were doing the things. Fighting for the right to have a credit card and to own property outright and all that kind of stuff. That they got to the point where they could have a little bit of leisure, good on them. But please do not mistake their current little bit of leisure for lack of oomph. Wow. Oh, soapbox. I'm chirpy. I'm chirpy today. Chirpy. Okay, I'm going to turn a corner. So, I can do that, which is probably the best corner, isn't it? Because I could do that, but I think that doesn't properly capture the spirit of this. So, okay, well, that's what we'll do. Maybe I won't get to there because I got 2 corners to turn quickly. Though turning corners is kind of fun because you put 3 stitches inserted in the same spot. So 1 goes this way, 1 goes 45 degree, and 1 goes 90 degrees. And I find that really soothing somehow. Oh my gosh, what's happening here? Okay, so there's 1. 1. Okay, I'm gonna do 2. Ooh, don't want to turn. Oh, yeah, so one of the things that I discovered, we're going to go back to this for a minute. So in the event you want to reproduce this, when you turn the corner, you have to do a little extra sort of stabilizing stitch. Otherwise, this whole thing will go weird. You can see there I went way off because I didn't realize that. Here's another spot where I could have used that other little basting stitch, just a little bite to make that square. I've got them, I think, in all of the other ones. So if you're ever doing that and you're turning corners, you need a little bit of extra I'm going to call it bite, just to make sure that that one stays stable. Look at that. Corner turned. Ooh. That's a bit of a nightmare. Oops, 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 oops. Wow, okay, that's a knot. Hang on. Come on, you can do it. Ooh. Somebody somewhere. Okay. Got both of them back. All right. I don't know if you can see that. There's your problem. There we are. Oh, that's better. When they go off and they're not squared up, they make a mess. Okay, and I would like that. Just fold it over just a little bit. I don't know what the other channel's name is. She is Australian. And she's working on a scroll. And she's working on the attachment bit. And I don't think I have any groundbreaking feedback to provide in terms of, ooh, this might be useful or not. But I am gonna pay attention to what she does, because I still have trouble with the whole notion of, come on, you gotta stick. Might do two, sure, let's do two. I want this to roll up securely. And I just have a whole bunch of design needs that I don't know that I can solve at the moment, which is fine. I don't know that I need to. I've got lots of time and lots of opportunity, I'm certain. Oh, I'm not gonna make it. Meaning I'm not gonna make it with this one thing of thread. Okay, let's call it there, because this is getting silly. Now I don't need 1,000 miles of this, but I need enough. Oops. Let's try that. A little extra. Come on, where are you? Where are the ends? There you are. Ooh, that's the sun come out. That's exciting. Just a sunny 1,000 degrees below zero. I fed the birds this morning. In cold weather, they just, poor little beans need some food, just like the rest of us. And while they don't understand me, they kind of get that I'm an opposing thumb. Pulling the wrong one. And so my appearance scares them, so they all sort of float into the bush. But boy, do they make a noise. Like, hurry up, we're hungry. And or it is them telling their buddies, opposing thumb is out. Food's on. And when they're really hungry, they don't even wait for me to leave. They're just, and it's so fun to have that little, just right in your, I was gonna say in your view, but you know what I mean. Okay, and we're gonna do this. Slip out the back. And then up there. Might go over because I've got to get to there, and it would be really dumb if I just stopped there because we hit an hour. Just saying. When I was out with the birds, you can smell the temperature difference. The air is, it smells different. That's kind of what I'm going to say. And it's like, oh, doesn't that smell good? Because of the extreme cold, the combination of gases in the air change a little bit. Not a lot, but our noses are pretty sensitive, and we can pick up this and that. Oops. Ah, what a mess. Oh, boo. Be that way. Oh my goodness, we're nearly there. Ah! Oh, I'm so excited. Look at that. A couple more, 2 more, 1 more. And 1 more. there. And then we're going to tie it off on the next stitch so that we have that locked in. Come on, you can do it. Come on. Ta-da! Look at that. So technically speaking, I have oh, come on. Seriously. It finished. I mean, it's not finished because I want to do this edging, but I have created my very first scrolly scroll. It's still annoying me. There we are. Look at how beautifully everything sits now. Oh, feels like a belt almost. Yes. That's amazing. So that, I think, is all for now. I'm going to continue with my baseball deconstruction. I'll show you next week what I've been able to get. I'm going to see if I can keep this thread because it's thread. And in the event you are interested, the pattern is Melt the Ice Hat by Paul Nearly at yarn_cult, available on Ravelry. That is all for now. Please take very good care of yourself. Stay out of trouble and stay out of the cold and or extreme heat. Love you lots, and we'll see you soon. Bye now.